Greetings, everyone. Kelsey emailed me and asked a great question. She wanted to know about example 4.7 on page 75 of our textbook. And just what are they saying? What is this? It doesn't really make sense. Okay? So we want to think in terms of sevens. So we're having 945 divided by 7. And so we want to ask ourselves, how many sevens go in there? Well, so I can think of it pictorially. I can think of it just with words. I'm going to try both at the same time and see what happens. So I'm going to draw my bar diagram here. And I'm going to say that total, this is 945. So if I'm thinking, how many sevens go in there? Well, I'm going to start with a big number that I can easily work with. So I'm going to say, well, 100 sevens gives me 700. So it's like I put all these little sevens in there. I'm just going to count over here. Okay, those are all sevens. So that right there is 700. Okay, now 945 minus 700 is 245. So this part here that's left over, let me see if I can change colors. This right here is 245, this remaining little box. So I ask myself, again, how many sevens in 245? Okay, and I'm thinking, well, a number that I know pretty well would be 30. 30 is a nice round number, okay? So I'm going to say 30 sevens in 245. Well, that's 210, right? So 245 minus 210 is 35. So now I've taken a whole bunch more sevens out of here, and I'm left with, I'm left with 35 left over. So then I say, how many sevens are in 35? Well, of course there are 5. So here are my answers. I've got 135, which gives me an answer of 135. So I can see if I took 945 divided by 7, well, the most times that 7 will go into 9, or how many sevens can I put in there, I can only put 100 of them, 100 sevens, which gives me 700. There's the 245, because I subtracted. Now, how many sevens go in 245? Well, that's where we got our 30, which is 210. And then I ask, well, how many sevens are in 35? So you can see that I get the same answer either way. Now, let's look and see what happens if we choose, like we don't get the right starting value. Okay, let's check that out. So I'm going to do this, like doing it right, doing it wrong, doesn't matter, it's still going to work out. Okay, the method they showed you was the smoothest method. But what if I said 945 divided by 7? And I asked the question, well, how many sevens are in there? How many sevens are in 945? Okay, and I'm going to say, well, I'm going to take a number that works pretty nicely for me. I'm going to say there's 120. Okay, so I think that 120 times 7 is 840, and so I've got 945 minus 840, which gives me 105. So then I ask the question again, and I say, well, how many sevens in 105? I'm going to say 10, because it's a number I know nicely. So 105 minus 70 is 35 again. Okay, so then I go again, and I say, well, how many sevens in there? And I get 5. Now I add these up, 120 plus 10 plus 5 is 135, which is still my answer. Okay, let's try another. Let's start with a different number completely. Okay, let's say I've got 945 divided by 7. Okay, so you start with your first question. How many 7s are in there? Okay, well, let's say I'm not very good with my numbers. Okay, so let's say that I just do, I don't know, 100's the easiest one. Obviously, it's easy. What if I said 200? Well, I would take 200 times 7 and get 1,400. So obviously, there's not that many in there. Okay, so I have to choose a lower number. And that's not a big deal. That's one of the cool things about math. You can start and stop again. Let's say I did 110. Okay, so 110, oh, this is a good one. 110 is 770. So over here, I'm going to take 945 minus 770. Okay, have to do a little bit of borrowing, but I get 175. Okay, this is so messy. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I'm going to take this 110, and I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to say I have 175 over here. So then I ask myself the question again. I say, well, how many 7s are in 175? Let's say, I don't know, let's say I know 10 again. Okay, so I'm going to say 10. That's going to be my guess. So 175 minus the 70 that I have right here gives me 105. This is so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then I go again and I say, well, how many 7s in 105? I'm going to say 10 again. Okay, so 105 minus 70 is 35. And I ask myself the question again. How many 7s are in this number? And I get 5. So if I add 110, 120, 130, I still get 135. So the whole purpose of this example is to show you that what division really means. So many times we look at this example and we're saying, how many times does 7 go into 9? It's not really about how many times 7 goes into 9. It's how many times does 7 go into 9? Like, how many hundreds are in there? How many times is it going to 900? That's what we're really asking, and we miss that because we just take each individual place at a time. So this is a cool method to do this bucket method. I would love to make a test question out of this. I hope this helps. If not, please ask me more questions. Talk to you soon. Bye.